So here is a weird one. I have a build your own pedal kit called The Range, or Der Range from Music Ding, which is a German company. I bought this on a whim many moons ago. I would suggest 2019, and it has sat in my box of electronics so long that I actually lost the PCB. So I bought a new PCB and I thought, I am going to build this. So I have a bag of stuff and I am going to check it's all there. So there's some wires, a PCB, we have a battery clip, we have the ports, a 9V DC, we have a wee separate PCB for the foot switch, we have some capacitors, we have some germanium transistor, an LED and a socket, and we have foot switch, switchy switch, and some ins and outs jacks. Right, so we'll put the ins and outs jacks to the side for a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away everything that is not the main PCB and main components, and I'll put that in the bag for later. And have a wee look at what we can do with this. So what we're basically going to do is go through all the first thing that we're going to do, go through all these components and gradually put them on this PCB. Now, fatherhood is such that I don't always get a huge amount of time, so I'm going to try and do that in a 2-hour window and see how far I get. Now, the easiest way to do the resistors, although these have actually, we've got a wee diode here, it's a wee black thing with thicker legs, and there is only one diode, and it will go hereabouts. And then the resistors have actually got, someone's very helpfully written in biro on the resistors what they are. What I would normally do is get a multimeter like so. It has no batteries. So multimeter, 1M resistor, like so. So they all appear to be present and correct. Two 1Ms, 1470, one 68K, two 3.9K, and one 100R. Alright, so what we're going to do is stick those in the PCB. So there we go, we have the resistors. You can see this end where we're going to solder, and then we have this end where they're all fired in. It doesn't matter what direction the resistors go in, but you just match up the values to the wee descriptions here, R1, R2, yada yada. So there we go, the resistors are in. There's a wee diode, there's a line on the PCB, and then there's a line on the diode. They do matter, the direction of. So you match up the line on the PCB with the line on the diode. And that's how simple it is. Now while we're at it, I've got there's the PCB for the foot switch. Cha-ching! So I'm going to fire, there's a wee resistor goes on that, so I'm going to put that in where we can. So now we're doing the capacitors. There are two types of capacitors. There are these which are polarized, which means that it makes the difference what side you put them in. And there are these which are non-polarized. You basically look at the numbers, you look at the values, and it kind of makes sense. Every now and again it doesn't, in which case you Google. But we're looking for a C5 is 47 microfarad, and it says 47 microfarad on it. So what we do is we look for C5, we look for the positive sign on the PCB, and we line it up with the long leg of the capacitor. So there's a little socket, and there seems to be a choice between how you put it in. So I've just chosen one, and I'm going to solder in this socket, and then we can plug in the transistor. So that's everything in. Germanium transistor with very, very long legs. I might trim them down. I probably should. But we'll make sure it works first. So the only component that's actually left is the LED, which is going to go in this wee other PCB. So that's everything in, and I just add the wires. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm doing the 9V DC in. we go. It's all still on the clamps, but we've got a kind of treble boosting thing going on. So there's the I'm just going DI into the computer, right? And we turn it on. It kind of sounds like almost like lo-fi. Then we've got a volume adjustment. So it's not quite overdrive, it's not quite fuzz around like that, it just kind of gives you a bit of treble. Kind of shrinks the signal. So the next stage is to drill the enclosure. Okay, so it worked. I bought the wrong enclosure, so it didn't have the holes drilled in it. So for the first time I've built loads of pedals, but I've never drilled the holes in the enclosure. Don't try it, is my advice. I managed it. They're slightly off kilter. I don't know if it's bad enough for you to see. And I had to re-drill an extension to that hole, which is why there's a big washer on it. But that's what I love about building pedals, is how homemade they look. But it works, it's fantastic. So I am playing a Guild S50 into a Fender Champ 600. I shall turn off the reverb. It's got that lovely warm, valvey sound. Play with Plectrum. I've always loved that. It's got that kind of 70s feel. But the amp has no tone control. It's literally a volume dial that kind of takes you through the settings. Record with this amp all the time. As I say, absolutely adore it. So the treble booster should give that wee kick that's maybe not there. And I had a wee play with it, as you saw while I was making it. So, here we go. So you could be forgiven for thinking that it's an EQ that's just kind of done away with the mid and the low end. Grit to it as well. It's like the lesser cousin of overdrive. So there's a toggle switch which moves through different banks of capacitors. This is basically the normal version, and this is the more treble-y version. So you get real grit coming through that. Really cool. A lot of the time when I'm like producing music and mixing, I always say there's space for drums. If you want big massive drums, you need to make space for them. And one of the, if you listen to like AC/DC or Led Zeppelin, the guitar's always tiny, kind of EQ spectral. So that's essentially how to make loud guitars. And then the lowest setting, which kind of adds in a bit more of the low end again. It keeps that kind of trebly grit. So bit more transparent. But that middle section's lovely. So it's got a real lo-fi kind of feel. And just to be completist, this is it with reverb. That app doesn't have reverb. Favourite settings in the middle. My new favourite pedal. Right, so just to be completist, I'll do it with a single coil as well. So here we have a Fender Affinity Squier Strat. I don't know what it looked like when it came out of the factory. Somebody gave me this, and it is my only single coil guitar. So starting on the standard setting, it's really nice, very scratchy. On my favourite setting for the humbucker. So that is a lot of treble. I'm kind of imagining some kind of like a John Cale type. That's where I pretend I can play guitar. So if you ever have a problem getting a Strat to cut through, it's definitely going to do the job. It sounds naked and bare without it now. Because I can't open my ears to these treble tones, I can't imagine not having it. Anyway, fun pedal, cheap as chips as well. Good first project. Take a look. If you like these, just interact with me and I'll make more because I would love to get all these pedals out.